Welcome to Detailing with Mark. Today I'm reviewing the ShockFlo G1 portable EV charger, the 40 amp model, and a big thanks to ShockFlo for sending me this unit to try out. I don't do a lot of product reviews, but here we go. The charger comes in a very compact box, and as you can see inside, there's a nice kind of travel pouch, a carrying case, vinyl material. It's got a handle on it. Very nice, very handy if you're toting it along on the road with you. Inside you got the charger itself, the cable, and there's a wall mount in there as well, and a set of instructions, of course. They also send a Tesla adapter because I have a Tesla Model 3. The wand feels good in your hand. It's the standard J1772 connector, of course. It has this nice little dust cover made of rubber. It's a nice touch. It goes on and clicks really securely. This little trigger at the top allows you to take the Tesla adapter on and off, and also signals to your car you're ready to start or stop charging. So this is the meat of the charger itself. You got this nice screen and a very thick cable. It's a very heavy, very weighty kit. Obviously, if you're going to handle 40 amps, you need to have the gauge of wire to do that. Very sturdy feeling and very heavy, pretty high quality feeling. Alright, now we will remove that nice little dust cover and grab the Tesla adapter piece. Only Tesla has their own charger adapter. They gotta make it difficult, but it's okay. Adapter piece solves it all. Position it over the wand, and you really just need to apply some pressure. I kind of like tap it in there until you hear a loud click. There it is. It's in there nice and secure. That's not going anywhere. Nice. To release it, you pull the trigger at the top and just yank it right off. As I said, that trigger will also tell the Tesla time to stop charging. Simple. This is a portable unit, but thankfully they included a wall mount as well, and screws and anchors, so I'm going to wall mount it. I plan to keep it at home and not travel with it. This is my outlet. This is a NEMA 1430 outlet. It's a 30 amp circuit, and you'll notice the very bottom of it has kind of a right angle to it. That's how you can tell it's a NEMA 1430 and not a 1450. Well, NEMA 1430 is popular in my area. Most houses in the United States have a 1450 adapter. As you can see on the right, this is the NEMA 1450 plug for the ShockFlo. They've gone with what most people have. On the left is what I have, the 1430. Again, most people have a 1450. No worries, I have an adapter for it. As you can see, it matches the outlet. Not a problem. Click, click, and we're off to the races. And the bottom, of course, is the 1450. So let's plug in the adapter to the NEMA 50 plug from the ShockFlo. You turn it upside down and plug it in that way, and then the 1430 end goes into the wall, obviously. Boom, bam, done. This is the finished product. It fits very nicely on the wall. As you can see in this method, I just left the cord kind of wound on the floor. You know, there's various ways to do it. Another way you can do it is to coil the cord and hang it on top of the unit. It's a very sturdy unit, very sturdy. You can do this even though the cord is heavy. Do whichever one looks best and works best for you. And I just had to show how solid this thing clicks into place on the wall mount. It's amazing. Best wall mount ever. Alright, now we have it mounted and turned on. You can see the nice screen. First off, let's talk about the charge delay feature. I really like that. If it's middle of the day and you want to charge it at a later time, you just set the hours to a later time and you'll be billed at the off-peak rate. I think that's pretty smart. Also, another feature I love is the current adjust feature. You can set it between 16, 20, 24, 32, or 40 so you don't overload potentially a circuit that this charger is also on. I like that. Another nice feature of the unit is a 20-foot long cord, which I will need because my Tesla is in the way back of my 3-car garage. Thankfully, it's long enough it will make it. Awesome. To begin charging, tap the Tesla door or turn it on in the app, and then I use 2 hands to push this in hard until you hear that nice thunk like you just heard. Then you know you're good to go. And the green light tells us it's charging. Nice. When you're done charging, press the trigger at the top. That tells the car to release the cable, pull it back, and you're done. Now, the charger doesn't fit my Tesla perfectly. Let me show you an example here. If you don't use 2 hands, if you just do 1 hand, it seems like it goes in, kind of. The light stays blue, which tells you it's not charging. So use the 2-hand method like I showed you before, and you'll be good to go. And as you can see, the car basically says, charge equipment is not ready, meaning we didn't detect it. Again, use the 2-hand method, and you shouldn't have any problems. Alright, with all of that said, let's get charging. So I have it set to 16 amps. Let's start small. I want to see, what does 16 amps do for charging? How many miles per hour will I get? So let's just go up the ranks and start with 16 and see how we do. Alright, looks like we're pulling a max of 3.9 kilowatts off the 16 amps, and let's jump in the car and see what that translates to in terms of miles. Okay, it looks like 17 miles an hour, which is solid given the low power draw. But no one's going to charge at 16 amps, come on. Let's kick this thing up to 20 and see what she does. Pressing the current button selects 20, and you'll notice the red light that tells you that it's not plugged in and sending current to the Tesla, and bam, now it is. Now you get those flowing green lights. That's how you know current is either flowing or not flowing. Looks like this tops out at about 4.9 kilowatts, which is a decent jump from 16. So at 20 amps, we're getting 21 miles an hour, a nice increase from 16 amps, but let's keep it going. Okay, now let's get a little more interesting and up it to 24 amps, which is getting to the max of my 30 amp circuit, but this is, I think, what most people want to be doing, so let's see what this gives us in terms of miles. As you can see, we've topped out at about 5.8 kilowatts, which is pretty solid. Okay, at 24 amps, we're getting 26 miles an hour, which is exactly what I get with my Tesla wall connector plugged into my 30 amp circuit. So we're at parity with the Tesla charger, but as I say, wait, there's more. Now we're going to dial this up to 32 amps. Now my circuit is 30 amps, so it can't pull 32 amps. So the question is it pulling the full 30? Let's find out. Oh wow, 7.7 kilowatts for pulling. I have never pulled that from this circuit. Let's jump in the car and see what we're getting for miles per hour. Wow. At 32 amps, I am getting 34 miles per hour. That is 35% increase in miles per hour out of the same circuit. That is the story on this charger. It's able to be dialed up beyond what my Tesla charger can do. That's amazing. Okay, last thing, just for fun, let's dial this thing up to 40 amps. There's no way it can pull 40 amps. There's no way it can pull 32 amps out of a 30 amp circuit. What can it do though? Let's see. Okay, it's about what I expected. It's pulling 7.7 kilowatts, exactly the same as 32 amps. No real surprise here. Hey, we tried. Let's jump in the car and see if there's any difference. Okay, so no real surprise here. The circuit can't put out more than 30 amps, and as you can see here, it's reading 32 amps. Still getting 35 miles an hour at the 7.7 kilowatts. Still amazing, but not a jump up, and that's not a surprise. It does make me wonder, what if I had a 50 amp circuit and we're pulling 40 amps? Unless I'm missing something, if I actually had a 50 amp circuit and could pull 40 amps off it, I think we'd be in the 40 miles an hour plus charging range, which is incredible. That's like what a slow supercharger puts out. Like, that's amazing. Is that possible? I think it might be. I need to find a 50 amp circuit and test it out to know for sure. So my final thoughts on the ShockFlo. First off, it's a lot cheaper than hiring a professional to come out and install a level 2 charger in your home, especially if you have a NEMA 1450 outlet already existing and available. I think the charger has a nice quality feel to it. It's solid, it's heavy with a nice thick gauge cable. I love the adjustable current feature, if you couldn't tell. It's something I honestly wasn't used to having a Tesla. I love being able to dial the current down if I want to protect the circuit and any other appliances on there, but as you saw, the most fun I had was dialing the current up to really push those high charge numbers. Really exciting. And lastly, as I mentioned in the video, the Tesla adapter is good, but it's not perfect. It seems to be just the slightest bit too large, maybe. As you saw, you really have to take two hands and give it a forceful shove so that you get that nice thunk connection and get the juice flowing, but it's totally fine. It just takes a little bit of practice. Before we wrap up, there's just a couple things I think were worth mentioning. First off is ShockFlo claims you can get 29 miles an hour charging at 32 amps. I got 35 miles an hour, which blew my mind. That's amazing. So I'm not sure why I went so far past their estimate, but I did. Tesla says their mobile charger pulls a maximum of 30 miles an hour charging at 40 amps. I beat that easily at 32 amps, which is really impressive. And lastly, ShockFlo claims you can get 36 miles an hour charging at 40 amps. I got 35 miles an hour charging at 32 amps. Doesn't that suggest that if I had a NEMA 1450 circuit at 40 amps, I could do way better than 36? Maybe. So here's my personal game plan. I'm going to charge at 24 amps to be safe most of the time. It gives me 26 miles an hour. That's what I was getting with my Tesla charger, so I'm very happy with that. I will charge at 32 amps to get that beautiful, beautiful 35 miles an hour, which is amazing, but I'm only going to do that occasionally. in short bursts once in a while, and I'm going to monitor the temperature, which you can do on the ShockFlo charger. I love that feature. Make sure it's not getting too hot. And that's because at 32 amps, I think the ShockFlo might be pulling a full 30 amps, which is the max rating of my circuit, and just not wise to do that for extended periods. Your goal for safety reasons should be charge at 80% of your circuit's max amp rating. For me, I have a 30 amp circuit, which means I should charge at 24 amps. If you have a NEMA 1450 circuit, which is rated at 50 amps, you can safely charge at 40 amps. You should pull about 8 to 9 kilowatts charging at 40 amps, and if your car can handle it, you should be able to easily beat 35 miles an hour of charge, which I got at 32 amps. At 40 amps, your car able to handle it, I have a feeling you can get more. 40, maybe 40 plus, I don't know. If you're able to charge at 40 amps and you do beat 35 miles an hour, please let me know in the comments. I would love to hear your final score. Thanks again to ShockFlo for sending me this charger to review. If you're interested in buying it for yourself, go to shockflo.com and use code MARK to get 10% off. Thank you as always for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a like. I always love to read the comments, and of course subscribe if you don't want to miss any of my future videos. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.